I really liked Hexacosa. Hexacosa, while it was still at its ceiling price, that was pretty good. But now that we have extra inflation in the system, that makes it so that people are still incentivized to dump the token, even if it's not at the ceiling price, which kind of answers your question a little bit there too, Tone. Your other question. The framework that I use to set those positions isn't valid anymore. Like the premises aren't true. And in that hex endgame thing, I outlined what those premises are. And so, where was I going with that? And so that LPing on that pair has become a little bit more complicated, but there are ways to get around it. I like USDC pairs if I'm trying to earn a bunch of fees because those have the most volume. And I like them if I'm trying to buy or sell. And then if I want a more long-term position where there are two coins, and this is another thing I didn't mention, the biggest question you should ask yourself on whether or not you want to LP with a coin is whether or not you're happy to be completely if you're happy holding one or other of the coins for a long period of time. So for example, hexahedron, I like both things. And I think long-term, the price appreciation of both of those things is going to be awesome. And so because of that, if I hold more of one or more of the other for a certain percentage of my bag, I'm not upset with that. So I'll go, the way I like to describe it is, and this isn't exactly it, but this is a good way of thinking about it. If Hex does a 2x and Hedron does a 3, Hex does a 3x and Hedron does a 2x, if I have an LP position, I will earn like a 2.3x or I'll earn a 2x, right? So like what percentage of my bag am I okay with ending up with the least amount of X's based on what those two coins do? And then at that point, that's a good pair for you to do. And then you set a range and you earn fees. Because no matter what, you're happy with what's going to happen, even if you take an L off the most optimum play. So I didn't go into specific pairs too much, but those are the heuristics and the questions I ask myself when I'm thinking about opening a position. Full disclosure, I have no LP positions open right now. I'm not LPing currently.
Sounds like a fake guru to me.
Me.
Furu Finance. It reminds me of shout out to Furu Finance.
Damn, dude.
So it was just making me think of...
Well, you're breaking up, man. Am I breaking up?
Please stop screens. I'm getting a little spinny face for a second. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. There you're back.
When you decide to do LP
for
your VPN, you like, gosh, I'm not on VPN.
You're right. If you were
using Tor right now,
your internet connection would have better. Is that how that works, right?
Actually, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, it's actually the opposite of that, Sloth. You know that. So if you're LPing two different pairs and you like both the pairs, what incentive do you have to LP for USDC Hex, for example? Like, why do people even do that? They think the price appreciation, or
because there's more volume there. There's more fees, right? So like when you sell, what do you think of? What do you think about when you think about selling? What are you selling into? USDC dollars, right?
Broken financial system. Yes,
exactly. When people say sell, they mean selling for USD, and for in crypto it's USDC, right? So like, and when you think about buying, you're buying from fiat into that coin. So like it's ingrained into the language that we're using where the volume is going, because it's implied that you're using USDC or you're using USD. And so because there's more volume, there are more fees, and because there's more fees, there's more incentive to LP. And so people take their money where they can earn the most money. It's that simple.
So Hex USD, more fees, but higher risk then?
Yes, it is a higher risk in terms of you'll get left behind on upwards price appreciation, and you'll get wrecked on downwards price dumping.
And Hex ICOSA is if you believe in both projects, you believe in the long term, then it really doesn't matter. You're just providing liquidity for other people to swap in between.
Exactly.
But less fees than you would the major pairs when people were selling.
Yeah. And like that's kind of the dream with this crypto stuff, in my opinion, is like my bags are so great in like US dollar terms that like I can't sell my coins. Like the money that I have is bigger than the liquidity in the pools. But because of that, even though the value of my token is worth more than what I can pull out, it's still valued at that price. And so the the percentage by which I can yield on those things is derived from that quote unquote inflated or like fugazi price. And so the fees I can earn become really, really high. And because I have a lot of coins, I can earn a lot of fees, right? Like that's like really, in my opinion, like the dream in crypto is to be able to have crypto and earn a just crap ton of yield from it because the price has gone up so high. And this is the cool thing about Hex is that like you're able to get that percentage of the inflation now. And then you can just project into the future what other people will be, what the faucet of inflation will be in the future. And so you're able to predict your ability to have that inflated percent of the system relative to future participants because of the way the inflation mechanism works.